This is Liz Colburn, host of Invited. Thanks for checking out the following podcast on Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is June 9th, 2020, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know about.
Today, we're helping you catch up on the Minneapolis Police Department dismantle, the advancement of the George Floyd murder case, the unique social media takeovers happening on celebrity accounts, and, like always, we will end on a more positive note with a special good news story.
All of this and more with correspondent Bryce Burge. We're your hosts, Anna Herman
and Kylie Thompson. Welcome to Catch Up. Let's begin with our top news story of the day.
Nine members of the Minneapolis City Council have announced their intentions to defund and dismantle the city's police department. This comes nearly 2 weeks after the police killing of George Floyd. Here to shed more light on this topic is official Catch-Up correspondent Bryce Burge. Thanks for being here today, Bryce.
Thanks for having me.
So I know there's a lot of confusion around what it means to defund the police. What does that look like, and what does that mean, just to clear everything up?
Defunding goes directly towards the economic stability and the dedicated use of funds in a municipal budget that would go towards the establishment of a police force. So when they talk about defunding the police, that means that they're going to yank the budget from a city level or a township level or a village level, and they will go in there as a municipality and say, we are not going to fund and give money anymore to this police department. In cases like Minneapolis as a city, they're saying we're going to take every single red cent. In other places like Indianapolis, New York, Los Angeles, they're talking about taking major cuts out of the police department to basically have a little bit more control over what they're spending their time and their money on. Some of it is kind of political gamesmanship. Other parts of it, especially for a lot of the protesters, believe that defunding the police departments will prevent police departments from being very well protected underneath police union guidelines, being protected through an obscene difference between what the protesters have and what the riot gear is for the special groups, or even eliminating the special subgroups that could deal with like emergency response teams, like we saw in Buffalo with the group that injured that elderly gentleman. So there are a lot of different aspects that can come out, whether it's a complete defunding or just a partial defunding, that can come through and potentially spark change just because the cash won't be there anymore.
The City Council is also looking to dismantle the police force. What would that look like, and what are some things that could be replaced in that aspect?
Dismantling is a buzzword, if there's ever been one, because dismantle actually has connotation to like you're taking down a regime. Dismantling is what you do towards militant groups in third world countries that basically take over when there's no government available. So to describe the police in this term, it is meant to look at dismantling the police force, taking away their guns, taking away their opportunities to basically have that next step of escalation already in play, which is the common operating procedure for many police departments across the country. So if you take that away, now you're left with a dismantled group, less police officers that rely on guns and combative style nature. So you're going to either rely on more community watch style, surveillance style. It can also include social workers. And the big one that would happen for a lot of big cities like Minneapolis is interlocal agreements with other county sheriffs to basically give them some money, where the county sheriff's offices and the state police troops, they usually have way more training than what a municipal police department can give, and you can use that aspect to try to even it out.
Officer Derek Chavan, the Minneapolis police officer charged with second-degree murder of George Floyd, made his first court appearance on Monday, according to Fox News.
Chavan appeared before the Hennepin County District Court at 12:45 p.m. on Monday, June 8th. He is facing charges for second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter after using his knee to pin Floyd to the ground by his neck for nearly 9 minutes.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison addressed these charges on Wednesday of last week, stating that he was elevating the charges to include second-degree murder, and that the very act that we have filed these charges means that we believe in them.
Chavan's Monday court appearance occurred remotely via video due to COVID-19 and social distancing requirements. Fox 9 reported last week that Chavan had been transported to Oak Heights Prison, a maximum security facility in Minnesota.
This story has been sweeping the nation since it began on May 25th and keeps unfolding by the moment. Make sure to check out Time for Ketchup on Twitter and Instagram to remain in the know on the latest updates. Now moving on to some media news. Selena Gomez and Lady Gaga are showing their support for the Black Lives Matter movement by inviting Black leaders and anti-racist organizations to take over their Instagram accounts. These social media takeovers are exposing these leaders and organizations to millions of people, which amplifies Black voices on social media, according to Elle magazine.
Gomez and Gaga both have impeccable reach on Instagram, with Selena Gomez having 178 million followers and Lady Gaga with 42.1 million followers. Both celebrities have been vocal on social media already, advocating for the Black Lives Matter movement and using their influence to shed light on the issue.
Gomez wrote, "I have been struggling to know the right things to say to get the word out about this important moment in history. After thinking about how best to use my social media, I decided that we all need to hear more from Black voices. Over the next few days, I will be highlighting influential leaders and giving them a chance to take over my Instagram so that they can speak directly to all of us. We all have an obligation to do better, and we can start by listening with an open heart and mind."
Lady Gaga also announced this takeover, stating on her Instagram, "I'm giving over my Instagram account to each of the organizations I've recently donated to in an effort to amplify their voices. And after I vow to regularly, across all of my social media platforms, post stories, content, and otherwise lift up the voices of the countless inspiring members and groups within the Black community. It is truly amazing to see celebrities of their caliber take a stand and use their voices and platforms to create change."
Now for some happier news for your day. Anna has some information on students working to make a change as well.
8th graders at Waldorf School in Santa Fe, New Mexico had spent the entire year raising $2,800 for their rafting trip, a thrilling end to their time in middle school. But then came COVID-19.
Rather than mope after the trip's cancellations, the students chose to make a major impact on the lives of others by using the money to help the Navajo Nation, which is struggling amid the pandemic.
In May, the Navajo Nation surpassed New York and New Jersey for the highest per capita coronavirus infection rate in the U.S., another sign of COVID-19's disproportionate impact on minority communities.
The students used their $2,800 to fund the purchase of supplies, which were then delivered to members of Navajo Nation. "I am very proud of my students, but I'm not surprised," said Daisy Bernard, their 8th grade teacher. "This is a very generous and compassionate group of teens. They have been raised to think outside of their immediate lives, and it shows in moments like this." What a heartwarming story. Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Kylie Thompson.
And I'm Anna Herman. Please be sure to catch up with us tomorrow on Wednesday, June 10th.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
We appreciate you listening to Catch Up. For even more content, follow Catch Up Digital on social media. Just search for @TimeForCatchup.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheCatchup on social media.
Catch Up is an official production of Public House Media.